Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same, so listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the Path of Night.
Last time on Path of Night, Neil and Johnny talk over mixed feelings and the uncertain future on their drive. Then, the coterie prepares to capture the Xantosa. The plan succeeds, and Johnny and Miles deliver the staked veto to Reese. Reese and Miles reach an uneasy alliance. Afterwards, the demon whispers into Miles' ear, but Miles brings his questions to Johnny instead. The two discuss the cost of pride and potential methods of praxis, and ultimately, they decide upon dishonor. We pick up with Wynn and Britta, kind of relaxing and waiting as errands are being run by other members of the coterie in preparation for what's going to be one of likely many confrontations with the killing spree. The two of you are kind of, milling about, actually getting a little bit of downtime in what's been this hectic, mad dash to a series of end goals. And there's a knock at the door. Big boom, boom, boom against the glass.
Britta looks up. She had been sitting by the bar, reading some music, actually. She looks to Wynn.
Wynn's hackles don't actually go up, but she is immediately more alert, and she looks to Britta and kind of reaches behind her into the back of her pants where her belt is, or where her gun is stowed. She looks to Britta and, do you want to get this or do you want me to?
I'll get it. You want to walk with me?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And Britta, along the way, slides a pistol out from under the counter, places it in the waistband of her skirt, goes to answer the door. Walking slowly, she pops her heightened hearing, just to see if there's any hint that she can get before she approaches the glass.
As you approach the glass, you can kind of hear someone kind of like scraping their sneakers out of the front door, like against like the sidewalk, and like twitching nervously and pacing, and there's just this very frenetic energy that's coming from the other side of the door. And then you get a look through the glass, and illuminated by a streetlight is a certain cab driver that you recognize. And in his hand is a box of pizza. And he's kind of like holding, some of the local New Haven style, and he kind of knocks at the glass again.
Britta slowly takes the hem of her sweater and just brushes it back to conceal the gun and also just to put it more out of her reach. And with a confused expression, she very slowly opens the door.
Oh, hey. Kind of like gives this nervous wave. I was just coming through the area with a little bit of pizza, and I kind of wanted to know if maybe you guys wanted to, have a quick talk about things. I know things are a little hectic right now.
Wynn kind of looks at Britta for anything to dissuade her from saying yes.
Britta repeats Ramirez's wave back to him, a little awkwardly, but she kind of catches herself and steps back and says, actually, that would be great, Ramirez.
Glad to hear it. Last time we met, things were a little stressful. Before that, I think you guys were getting shot at by somebody. But, I think we had built a little bit of rapport with each other, and I don't know, maybe we can talk things out. I brought pizza.
I see that. Thank you for that.
Oh, you can feel free to come in.
Thank you for that. And he kind of steps in. He, adjusts his jacket and is like he's very nervous approaching the group of you. So it feels like we have a lot that's going unsaid, and I think it might be a good idea if we just talk a little. Maybe we can understand each other.
I think that's a good starting place.
Do you want to sit down? And Britta gestures over to probably the most comfortable seating in her haven. Might be that same bar.
He heads over to a countertop and places the pizza box down, opens it up. Inside, it looks like there's just a series of almost random toppings. I got us a garbage pizza. Figured we could talk things over. It's my personal favorite. I figured you guys were kind of like wild, maybe in different things, and might be down to give it a go.
Britta is just kind of looking to Wynn, maybe for help on the subject.
Is garbage pizza a New Haven thing?
A garbage pizza is like just every topping just piled on.
Yeah, I mean, if you get everything, everyone's happy, right?
Yeah, this is what I was hoping for. So, I just want to preface this with, you guys never did anything bad by me, but when we first met, I really did kind of get the impression that you guys were in the midst of some sort of a big conflict,
That's fair to say.
Which means that you're not all the same, right? People who all think the same, they don't really kind of get into big blowout conflicts like that. So what I'm hoping is that maybe we could find some measure of peace.
I think that's something we would all like. What? Ramirez, I'm not great at talking, so I'm just going to come out with things no matter how blunt they sound. Maybe
we should start from the beginning. I don't know if we've ever really kind of said hi and introduced ourselves.
Right.
My name is Britta, and she holds out her gloved hand.
He reaches out and shakes.
She shakes back. This is my friend Wynn.
What's up, Wynn?
Wynn reaches out her hand.
Reaches out and he kind of shakes her hand.
Her grip is stronger.
Britta's hands are unnaturally cold, but the glove masks that to some extent.
If he notices anything like particularly creepy about your handshakes, he doesn't really seem to comment on it.
After the fact, Wynn realizes her hood wasn't up, and she kind of pulls it up on reflex.
No, it's all right. I'm not here to judge anyone. So I know you guys came to the house. I know we must have pissed you guys off because that other guy, his approach was pretty different. And now that everything's done and the fighting's over, maybe we can try to move past it.
What do you mean everything's done?
The guy that came after you guys did.
Could you describe him?
Yeah, it was this he was like this big black guy, kind of dressed like a member of Boys to Men.
Does this sound like Weathers?
It sounds exactly like Weathers.
Yeah, I know the guy.
At the mention of a band name, Britta looks again to Wynn for help.
It's Weathers.
His approach was different. How do you mean? We think we know who you're talking about, and he's a friend of ours.
Well, there was one that we were talking to and questioning, like you. For the record, I did not support that kind of treatment of anyone.
Thank you.
And I was vocal about it, but I was outvoted.
I was going to say it seems like you were the minority there.
And that's not and those people there, they're good people. Like Suarez is one of the best men I've. His eyes go wide when he says Suarez by accident.
No,
we know who he is.
To be open with you, you've come and sat down with us, and a lot of you are people that some of us have met along the way.
He looks a little surprised at that. Oh, well, so this guy, Weathers, kind of just came crashing through the front door, started tearing the place apart.
He could get in?
Yeah, he just went right through the
force
stuff.
of will thing.
Yeah. He ripped through the place, grabbed the girl, and left.
They were very close, and
I'm honestly not surprised that he did that.
To be completely, it didn't look like your people intended on letting her leave alive. So, he cares about her a lot, and yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
is everyone okay?
He makes her look mostly. I just don't want anyone else getting hurt if we can avoid it both sides.
We didn't want that either. We, like Britta said, most of us have connections to at least one member of your group, and we didn't want it to come to blows, but I'm glad she's safe.
What do you mean when you said mostly?
He collects a slice of pizza and starts eating it,
Wynn will spend a blood and eat a piece of pizza with him.
It kind of like falls. It's like so greasy and like just slops.
Mm-hmm.
Britta picks up a piece of pizza, looks at it, looks at Wynn, looks at it, looks at Wynn, and kind of just puts it back down on the table.
Wynn kind of makes a little gesture like a wave with her hand, trying to get across the point of just let it happen.
And with that reminder, Britta does remember the talks after the couch was ruined and the wine was splattered, and the reminder that she could use blood. And so, she spends one. However, she still holds the pizza for several more seconds before taking a bite.
It tastes mostly like salt and grease, but like in a good way.
She hasn't eaten since her embrace, so Britta is very slowly chewing and kind of just focusing on the sensation. She's not even quite sure if she remembers it, so this is very distracting for her.
It's hard to... There's this undercurrent of ash. Like, there's just something not totally satisfying about it, because in comparison to blood, this is nothing. Even your beast kind of stirs hungrily at the idea of, like, getting a real meal, and you find yourself eyeing Ramirez a little different.
Do my best to redirect that towards the unsatisfying pizza.
So, essentially, I came here hoping that maybe I can convince you guys to not go after our circle.
We don't want to go after you.
All we want is to be able to conduct ourselves without hurting people.
The only reason that we were... The girl you had was our friend too. And that put us in a hard position where we had to determine whether or not what your friends were doing to her would kill her and what we were going to do about that. Because, well, yeah, we've met some of you, we know some of you, and we know her too.
The old detective, he knew her too, from the seams of it.
She actually asked us to make sure that nothing bad happened to him.
Well, that sucks. I wish I knew that. Hindsight, you know?
Yeah.
We were told that he was a really good detective, that he was trying to do good for this city.
Yeah, this means a lot. You guys, you know, talking it out. So you said that you guys don't really want to hurt anyone, but there's a lot of people getting hurt, and it's, I don't want to use weird words, but
just go for it.
It's the vampires doing it.
Well, like you said,
is that a bad word?
It's a word.
Is that okay?
I prefer that to monsters.
Okay.
Vampires, okay. Different kinds of vampires use different words for themselves. People getting hurt, maybe that's the Sabbat doing that.
There is more than one political group of us.
So what is this? It's like politics doing this?
It's politics in the way a coup in a country is.
I had a friend go to Dunkin' Donuts, ask if I wanted something, and I shat myself, thought he was going to fucking die or something.
When was that?
This was just a week or so ago. It's these public places that are getting...
Britta dips her head knowingly.
So that's not our group. Our group is very much about keeping under the radar. There is another group who thinks that we should live loud, to put it mildly. And right now they've come to New Haven to try and live loud here, and we're doing what we can to try and keep it under wraps.
I'm going to ask a question. I hope you guys don't mind, but you know a guy named Joey?
Little boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking care of him.
We've been trying to help Joey's mom get payback for what happened to that little boy. And we don't want any trouble. We don't want to bite off more than we can chew. But the thing that did it, the house.
You guys can't go there.
We
gotta
go there. You do not.
We have to go there.
It's very
It's
dangerous.
some kind of a vampire thing, right? What can you tell me about it? We're going, but maybe you guys know something that can help me make sure my friends make it out alive.
So You're putting the cart before the horse here. Because short answer, is the one pulling the strings the house? Yes. Is the thing that killed Joey still alive? No, I killed it.
But we can't let we can't allow other Joeys. So we gotta go, and we gotta put this thing down. And I get that, and I respect the choice that my circle made, and I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't change their mind about any of the other shit. But maybe you've got some information I can use to save them. I know this is dangerous.
It's not dangerous, it's suicide. You will not come out of there. And when I say you will not come out of there, you might walk out of there, but it won't be you anymore. I understand wanting vengeance for a lost child, probably better than a lot of people. But if you go in there, justice has been done, and it wasn't at her hands, and I wish I could help her find that. But this is just throwing yourself headlong into the abyss.
Maybe that's what we're meant to do.
What are you? What are you guys?
People.
I know, but people can't block entry with their force of will.
Now, who's tried?
You don't seem like mortals.
Well, I'm definitely mortal, but
You kind of dodged the question before. Who's not okay in your group after what happened?
Suarez got pretty hurt. He was not interested in... it's complicated. But
he didn't want to negotiate.
He didn't want this guy taking off with her. And he got a little close, and this guy was way more serious than anything we'd ever seen. On a whole nother level, this guy was so terrifying. We have a trick or two. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But we've never, ever, ever seen anything on the scale of that Weathers guy.
If you think you couldn't handle him, you should be nowhere near that house.
We have abilities. They're different for each one of us. That house is full of and infected with an ability that could put everyone in danger. Revenge is not worth spreading that contagion.
If we don't do anything, it will spread.
Fire won't kill it.
You don't understand. A member of our group, she gets these, visions. And she's shown potential outcomes. Things that can be bad. Things that can be good. In this case, something real, real bad happened. And it happened because we didn't do anything about it. So we're going. We're fighting this fight. The disease. Fire doesn't work. Okay, these are good things. These are things we need to know. And he scarfs down pizza, nervous eating.
We're not going to jump you or anything. Man.
I know.
You don't need to
chew. I trust you.
Chew, don't choke.
He tries to laugh and actually kind of chokes a little bit for a second, but coughs and he ends up okay. So the house won't burn.
The house itself will. What's in there won't.
If you burn it, it might spread the contagion.
Where is it in the house?
Everywhere.
He looks at both of you after you both say that at the same time.
We've been sure we emphasize in unison.
Okay.
Will you let us go with you?
I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't think you going at all is a good idea, and I don't think you could stop us if we showed up.
No, but we could reschedule. I think right now the best we can ask for, what I'm asking for, is that we don't collide. I'll try to keep my circle away from harassing you and yours. And if you can keep that Weathers guy from coming back.
He has no interest in the house.
And honestly, he's unlikely to come back at you.
Okay.
Ramirez, does she want to talk to Joey?
She has a lot of anger and hurt. And I think...
He is still in danger.
From what?
There's more to all of this than us and you and that house. I understand that this can be really overwhelming. I'm really new to this too, but there's things that happen, and Wynn is an expert when it comes to, well, ghosts.
Sometimes ghosts don't move on if they're anchored here.
Yeah, I have a few friends.
Okay. It's called the Shadowlands. Who are your friends? We might know friends.
I don't know if I should share.
One of them's not Mr. Perfect, is it?
No.
Stay the fuck away from him.
Okay.
Okay, good, yeah.
The Shadowlands are in danger of being swept away. And with them, all ghosts being swept to oblivion.
The storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So the storm's been going pretty bad, and I'm gonna...
Are you a medium?
You could say that. So...
Britta is looking to Ramirez in confusion.
Have you ever seen a rot?
Yes, I fought a few.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Like...
I only found them in the Holy Land. Are they cropping up elsewhere now?
Like, globally. That storm is... It's kicking people across.
Mm-hmm.
They,
If she wants to help her son and not just avenge the fact that he is not here, she needs to redirect her energy away from the house and figure out how to help him.
All she's got is revenge. You don't understand. It's like hard programmed into her. But I'm gonna try. I'll talk to her, see what I can do. Maybe...
I'm keeping him as safe as I can, and I'm trying to figure out how to protect him from what's coming. I'm trying to protect them all, but...
All right.
This is big, and if we can come at this from more than my paradigm, then this could change the world. This could prevent Joey's.
Okay. That's...
If
he kind of like slumps, not out of like shame or fear, but at the sheer weight of the possibility.
We don't have to...
We could save the world.
We could save the world.
Okay. I'm gonna go, but before I do...
There's a few things. Yours first?
I was just gonna say if there was anything else that you wanted to mention. He kind of like looks like totally like lost in like your Toreador eyes.
Thing number 1, if we can't stop you from going to that house, then we might as well tell you what we can. Don't let anything in there touch you if you can stop it.
Biohazard suits if you can.
Clean off. Be ready to fight. There's warped creatures, things that won't move as people do, and these creatures will be strange, they will be powerful, and they will be unpredictable. And they may be able to change you. Bring medical supplies.
Okay. Yeah, we can plan around that. Thank you.
And the second thing, I guess it's a bit more selfish. If she's in the headspace to hear it, could you please tell Johnny's daughter that he loves her?
Who's Johnny?
One of the guys who was there that night, leather jacket, smoking.
Yeah. He was a cool guy.
Jessica's
nice guy.
his daughter.
Oh. Shit.
He tried to keep this life from her, and it found her anyway.
He was, he tried really hard to keep her safe, and that's kept good in him, and I think that he would really want her to know that he does.
Jessica's the one with the visions. She's the one that is telling us we gotta go. And I believe her.
Honestly, I'm of two minds about you guys going to that house, because nothing we could do could stop it. But maybe what you guys can do can.
That's what I'm hoping.
So am I. Especially if I can't talk your fool heads out of going.
Yeah, I know. Brave and dumb.
You'd do well with us, Ramirez. What's Joey's mom's name? I just don't want to refer to her as Joey's mom. It doesn't have to be her real name.
Crystal.
Tell Crystal I've gotten revenge before, and it doesn't help.
I'll let her know.
I don't think she'll hear it, but... And tell her that I'm taking care of him. He's safe, for now.
I think she'll be glad to know that the end wasn't the end.
He also, for what it's worth, he wasn't alone.
Okay.
He's not alone now.
He kind of looks down and collects his thoughts, takes a few deep breaths as the initial nervousness that he had when he came here starts to fade a little.
Ramirez, if you're going to be tangling with this world, keep it as separate from your other life as possible.
I'll do my best. He takes out what is kind of like just a cutout piece of cardboard, but he wrote on it like as though it's like a business card type deal. Has his name and beeper number. I'm just going to leave this with you guys, just in case, no pressure.
Got it.
Ramirez?
Yeah.
She'll tear the piece of cardboard in half and jot down her own number. If you get in trouble in that house, please call.
Okay. All right. He clears his throat. Have a good night, guys. It was actually really nice talking to you.
Feel free to drop by again.
Good night, Ramirez.
He gives like a little wave and steps out.
As the door closes, Wynn kind of turns to Britta. Whoa. What do we do with this?
I don't know if we can tell Johnny. I guess we have to. We have to tell them. We have to tell them that Jane is safe, and we have to tell them that we had this conversation, and we have to stay firm on they're gonna do what they're gonna do about that awful, awful house, and we probably can't stop them.
Well, we definitely can't stop them, and if we did, I think it would complicate is too soft a word for what I think it would do if we got directly involved.
All right.
But I will send messengers to watch the house.
All right.
And they'll let me know when they go. I hope we're wrong, Britta. I hope they can do something we can't.
Maybe they can, but you know what, what we can do is help you to look into what's happening worldwide. We got that side of it. We have you for it.
Is Joey around anywhere?
Not that you can see.
Okay. She kind of just, her eyes dart around like she's looking for someone, but doesn't find them.
Is anyone here?
No.
Oh.
No, I like to keep my eyes peeled for him. He likes to hide sometimes.
Oh, Joey.
Yeah, no, sorry. Britta, I'm of two minds, and so I'm going to float them. I'm going to speak from the heart here. I don't know if we should tell Johnny that we talked to him, or that we asked him to let Jessica know anything. I'm not sure we should tell them that he's made such direct contact, because I don't know what their reaction is going to do if he comes back. It's possible it'll do nothing, and I don't want to keep secrets from the coterie, but
I don't think it's fair for Johnny to be lied to again.
There's a lot of validity to that.
This is his daughter, this is his business, and with getting his daughter away from everything, away from Shaw, and now he has the smallest window in, one that...
And if she doesn't do anything with it, what's that gonna do to him?
I think it'll hurt. I think it'll hurt a lot, but I think he's hurting regardless when...
How much more can one person take, though? I don't disagree with you, but...
If we don't tell him that we know Jane is safe, and with Withers... then...
I can easily say that my retainers saw Withers go in, bust it down, and take her. We don't need to reveal that we've had contact with one of these folks. Again, I'm not against it, but I'm trying to not just act on impulse here.
Lex, did Ramirez leave the remainder of the garbage pizza?
Mm-hmm.
Britta looks down to it and kind of uses her nail to pick at the side of it. Our entire coterie is keeping track of that house and the link that it has to that sleeping thing. Not giving information over that we know that something might change with it that might get in our way later.
Okay.
I'm sorry, You're right, Wynn. You're right to not want to think on impulse with this, but maybe my heart is being too loud.
I don't think that's a bad thing, Britta. I'm asking you because I think I'm too quiet in that regard.
I'd like to tell them, and I think they can handle it. I do.
Full disclosure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Short answer, yes.
Long answer?
Yes, but I feel like they're going to want to try and get in there and stop them. And I think that's going to lead to problems.
Do you think maybe we give them the full answer after they've been in the house?
Wynn kind of circles her neck and cracks it a couple times. Maybe we sit on this for a little while? But it's also possible we could get a panicked call from Ramirez and I would need to go.
All right. How about this? We're about to handle the killing spree, right?
Yep.
Let's do that first.
Okay.
Let's tell Johnny that we know that Jane is safe, that we know that she's with Weathers, and that we'll update him on the rest after.
I don't see how he's not going to demand the full story now.
And I don't see how he's going to get it out of us.
Fair point.
Give him that respect of telling him, we know this, and we'll tell it to you. But we've got something to focus on now, something bigger. At least when it comes to being able to do anything about it.
I don't think this is a bad turn of events, it's just adding to our cascade of weird.
When I can't remember anything other than weird.
Maybe someday you will, if that's what you want.
When?
Yeah.
That thing that, happened with Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
When I can't remember really knowing him. I don't know what he said on your end. I just started wondering what I couldn't remember. If I was really close with him, or if I was friends, or if I don't even know if I was in love with someone, or him, or any of it.
Do you want to find out?
I don't. Every time I find something out, it doesn't make me feel. I keep wanting to, and I don't know if that will ever stop wanting to know more about it, but I don't see it helping us. And that's what I have now.
I didn't ask what you thought the coterie needed, I asked what you wanted. This is not a practicality question. This is, what does Britta want?
I'm not sure. Do you mind if I think about it until we talk next?
Britta, we're made of time. We've got all the time in the world.
I hope that's true.
Miles, Johnny, the two of you wait at the Royale for the meeting before the attempt on Cynthia. It's very quiet tonight, allowing the two of you the space you're going to need to conduct your dirt. One at a time, you can kind of see the other members of your coterie starting to arrive, but it's going to take a moment for them to kind of weave through people and eventually get to you.
Johnny's halfway through a pack of Morleys. A ashtray is sitting in the middle, just filled with butts. Laid out between the two of them is a map of the greater New Haven area. They are leafing through some notebooks and journals that look to be from the sheriff's office, and they're using markers and pens to mark out locations where the killing spree has struck and caused masquerade breaches.
Welcome. Looks like we're about to put this part of our plan into action. We now need to locate Cynthia the Abbott. According to Johnny here, the Sabbat generally do not perform their attacks around the area they sleep.
I said they don't eat where they shit, but you probably said it better.
So we've laid out all the attacks that the sheriff's office has on record, and we're hoping to put all of our skills together here to locate possible bed down places for the Sabbat, and use that to scope out their wherever they're hiding out, check out that location, and then prepare for our raid. So I hope you came all with your thinking hats.
I mean, I don't travel without mine, you know me.
Right. 100% all the time.
Oh, and before I forget, Johnny opens up his jacket and reaches in and pulls out a small drawing stained with deep brownish, blackish stains all over the paper. Puts it down on the table and slides it over towards Wynn and Britta. The two of you might want to hold on to that. I had to dig it out of Neil's guts here, and I'd appreciate not having to go through that again.
Can do. Wynn kind of doesn't really whinge at the idea, but definitely her eyebrows do something.
What does this do?
Well,
Is this
according to Neil, it aids in the search. I'm not sure how. You want to explain that?
The, spirit of Ahriman, wielded his great lance against his foes. Whoever's in possession of that until the next inauspicious night, their lance will be directed towards the pursuit of their foes.
And as much as I'd love to carry that lance, I think that experience has proven that I'm not the best scout, because I lose perspective when interacting with the killing spree. I think either Wynn, you, being that you can easily blend in to an area as an owl, or Britta, you, because you seem to have some interesting learned abilities with stealth, might be the better scouts for the situation.
I don't see or hear as well as Britta, so my vote would be for her.
I would need someone with me, just in case there's anything in my, She kind of, goes to touch the side of her forehead, but nervously brushes her hand through her hair instead.
I can go with you.
I think Neil should also be on this team.
If we can, and Neil looks down at the map with all the, markings on it. If we can help to narrow down an area, a particular neighborhood, I have, thanks to Johnny and that drawing and her name, enough to be able to track where she moves, where she's been, and where she's going.
Well, based on where these attacks are going, I could try to work out a pattern, but he glances over at Neil. I think there's someone else here who might be better at extrapolating patterns.
Is this as much information as we can get?
Well, let me go through the rest of the attacks that we're aware of and get the map fully marked up, and then I'll let you take a look.
Yeah, I pass out folders. Everybody take a look. Make the last markings and confirm our information, and then...
Wynn kind of discreetly holds up the picture between her middle finger and her pointer finger. So this is her.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good drawing of Cynthia.
Okay.
Best as we can get. So.
All right. She passes it to Britta.
Britta looks it over. How good a drawing, Lex?
Not that good.
Well, it doesn't give you pause.
Understandable.
Not even a little.
Britta does look over the drawing, memorizing the details, but she readily accepts the folder from Miles as he hands it out and seems undisturbed.
So just so you're aware, Cynthia is the Abbott, as they call it, for the killing spree. This is the Canite who's responsible for making sure the day-to-day needs of the pack are taken care of. Even though they're seemingly monsters, they still have to eat, they still have to sleep.
So she finds them cots and Happy Meals.
Exactly. Which is why they tend not to cause too much trouble in whatever storage unit or abandoned house they find. Somewhere low-key and off the radar. The only problem is they definitely make sure that hiding is not the only protection. They will often have all kinds of horrible creations waiting to protect the Abbott when the rest of the pack is off conducting whatever business the killing spree gets up to.
Such as?
The Tzimisce make weird things. Kind of like how Vito made in his Hell House. But not a different flavor.
Those ones were natural offshoots. Vita didn't make those, if I remember right.
Correct. They seemed to be the trimmings of a garden rather than constructs. The things I remember the killing spree having are called Schlachta. As I understand, they're a weird form of ghoul. And rather than keeping somebody around for their personable social qualities, they do all kinds of horrible things to their body and graft on muscle and bone until you have basically an ogre that can defend their abbot and their haven. Underneath that, they probably have a whole menagerie of other things that are not quite as dangerous as Schlachta, but you can kind of imagine what we're talking about.
So right now, we're just looking at where to hit. We're not hitting.
The other thing to keep in mind is that generally speaking, Marnie, who is the Tzimisce of the pack, might also be there in the Haven with the Abbott. Marnie's the one responsible for creating these monsters that protect them. If we can get both of them, that's great, but it also means it's double the trouble if we find them both at the Haven.
Other than flesh crafting, what do Tzimisce do? Like, are they combat problems, or are they just kind of scientists?
I really don't know what Marnie's capable of, but even though the bloodline differs wildly from the Xantosa, not wildly enough that I wouldn't say it's going to be unlike fighting Vito.
Fair.
Gotcha. But yes, the plan is to just scout right now and hit them in a couple days once we're ready. Grab supplies based on what Johnny knows about them and what we can find out about the location.
So that means if we're scouting, if we get caught, they're just going to move locations.
Right. Let's keep from not getting caught. But I think knowing about their hideout is more important than...
I think the Abbott will also try to move their haven as often as they can to try and make sure that something like this doesn't happen. So if we do find their spot, it's not going to be a couple of days. We're going to move as fast as we can.
Okay. That makes some sense to me. So I guess everybody should get geared up to go just in case.
Yeah. We should all prepare and we should all hunt.
Miles gave me a list of things that we're going to probably need. If we find out any other information, we can probably scrounge it up pretty quickly. But
okay,
let's find this place first.
Sure.
Once we find it, the next step will be trying to case it as best we can.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Is this enough for a starting place? And she looks to Neil while tracing the edge of the map.
I'm not sure. And Neil sort of gets lost looking at the map and all the places they've sort of X'd out where the patterns of, like, the attack patterns have happened to try and see where are the attacks not happening within an easy night's, like, these people aren't grabbing cabs, so within travel, just to try and pinpoint at least a block, a neighborhood as best as he can about where they might be.
Give me an eyes of guess.
7 successes.
With 7 successes, you actually kind of get an impression that they're keeping actually towards an area with money. That this pack is deceptive and experienced enough that all of the usual places one might go searching for the Sabbat are unlikely to find them. You start thinking that because all of the instances of them hitting like Dunkin' Donuts and things like that, they're not hunting. How they're getting their food is pretty well concealed, which means they must be tapping some sort of a large pool of people. And that's when you start to kind of realize that Yale is kind of at the heart of what's going on. And now I want the streetwise check.
Isn't that where the Tremere Chantry is? Okay.
I rolled 3 ones, no successes on streetwise.
Okay.
To be clear, I didn't botch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I got no successes.
You're having a hard time piecing it together.
Okay. Neil sort of zones out and stares at the map for a while. Okay. Johnny, this pack is really smart. They're hiding out somewhere in the college at Yale, but it takes up so much of the city, and there's such an easy pool to prey on there. They're going outside to hit these little things just to screw with the masquerade, to cause chaos, to cause a panic, but I just don't... I've spent so much time avoiding Yale because that's where the Tremere are, that I don't know it as well as someone maybe who lives in New Haven should. I have no idea where in Yale, and it's so big. I don't know if anybody else...
Well, I don't know Yale specifically, but universities... I don't know. That seems familiar.
Johnny will snatch up the map and take a closer look at the Yale area. He's kind of blinking with the fact that he's like, yeah, I guess I never actually... Johnny had always been fooled by the idea that they would haven somewhere in like the Rack or somewhere that's a little bit seedier. The fact that they're maybe hiding in the open in the Yale area kind of gives him a new take on the whole situation. And he'll see if he can spot or see if looking at the map helps kickstart his brain into thinking of possible locations that a Sabbat pack could get their hands on, considering that they might have limited influence within the city. Can I make a streetwise check?
Yes.
Can I claim any bonuses from either Sabbat Survivor or from Open Road?
I will give you +2 dice from Sabbat Survivor.
Okay. And this is wits plus streetwise?
Yes, sir.
I have 4 successes.
Nice.
Excellent. So with 4 successes, you kind of get thinking and you realize that just off of Yale campus, there's been a ton of property that's been purchased by the university. And for the past 8 months, it's been undergoing renovations. They've basically got whole sets of apartment complexes and old houses that are completely empty, save for the daytime construction workers that are there. And, they've only really kind of started doing the heavy work there because we're now finally getting into out of the colder days.
Neil, you are a genius. I wasn't even thinking about Yale, but no. If you look here on the western side of Yale, you get out towards past Howe Street. All of these old buildings are from the turn of the century. They're old hotels and stuff like that. A lot of these places have been bought up by the college. They're sitting vacant. I mean, you got some construction workers coming in and out, but I mean, if anything, that gives them a better cover because there's constantly all kinds of different strange people moving around in these places, and most of them are sitting vacant. But it's literally right next to the downtown. There's tons of foot traffic walking by.
Lex, may I use knowledge academics to get a better context on the way that I'm thinking about that is whether there might be known or prestigious houses that maybe this pack might be more attracted to?
You would need to know a little more about the pack itself in terms of societies and things like that. And Yale is crawling with them, dozens and dozens.
Okay.
So because the nuances are so significant,
yep,
you would need to know more. There's a good chance that maybe Cynthia has these sorts of connections that she's making use of here. Because, in the past, it was kind of discussed that Cynthia has a lot of connections, influence, money, things that most Sabbat don't have.
We know that this Abbott has more mortal reach. I can find something out about the university, I think, maybe if I get a bit more information.
About?
I would need to know more about what this pack might value, if we can narrow down the neighborhood. Stuff like if they might really want to target a particular fraternity or society or a historic building.
Do we know which societies and historical buildings are of most interest to the Tremere in the area? Because that's right on the border of their territory. If the university's expanding, it's essentially expanding their territory. And I have a feeling that Cynthia doesn't have the same friends that, Reese has. So, I mean, if we can exclude some of those, would that help you, Britta?
I'm not sure. I don't know how we'd know that sort of thing about the Tremere.
I don't know. I was just sort of asking.
I know some things, but I'm not fully in contact with, or fully aware of his full network.
I don't know. Is that the sort of thing I can make an occult roll for to see, to just narrow down stuff for the Tremere? Probably not.
No, not with just an occult roll. You need to take an investigatory action.
That makes sense.
Well, we're not looking at that big of an area, right? At this point, we're looking at a few blocks.
Yeah, it's just that there's a lot of room to fit a pack that has mostly Protean users within a few blocks.
Is it a small enough search area to use the location method you were talking about, Neil?
It could be, although the smaller the better, especially if it's sort of a warren of, insane stuff. Actually, Johnny, we know Cynthia's name. Do you know when she was embraced?
Definitely not. I wasn't around long enough to really know anything deeper about Cynthia than what her role in the pack was.
Okay. I mean, it's a little bit harder, and I hate to go back to the well all the time, but I could ask the heavens in the same way that we did when I looked at Arabella.
I can also just go look as a bird.
Sure, I mean, we can just go there, but I think we're trying to narrow it down more and get rid of a little bit more information so that we can... I mean, it's a lot safer, considering the pack, if we have a couple of buildings rather than a neighborhood to look through. Not that it's bad. We can find it for sure.
What if you did look as a bird? Would they think to look for something like that, Johnny?
I think it's her job to be nervous about where they're living. So they're going to have eyes out for all kinds of stuff. What about that token, the picture, that the Aramon's lance you were talking about?
It'll make it easier to find her, find information.
Will it make it easier to hide from her in the process?
Stalking, everything but the killing.
So maybe just take that with you guys and be extra careful and see if we can just put eyes on her. If we can actually figure out where she's going to.
It sounds like a good plan to me.
You keep a phone on you. If you get made, we'll be nearby in the area to roll in, and what we might have to do this a little bit sloppier than we'd like.
I can keep us hidden, at least a little bit. I don't know how many of them can see things the way that I can, or the Toreador can, but...
City Gangrel can't see shit.
That's good to know.
You two,
unless they've been trained to.
You two, Miles, Johnny, you stick together?
Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah, we're still in nobody goes anywhere alone territory, right? He says, having come in after hunting and feeding alone.
Well, hunting's different.
So then that sounds like what we should do. You keeping us hidden, and then as much as we can sticking together to see if we can get a trace of any of them leaving or entering the neighborhood.
Or a clue or anything.
I could also just ask the pigeons in those neighborhoods if they've seen them.
Aren't they surrounded by gangrel, though?
Yeah, but City Gangrel don't tend to,
They don't talk to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, we can do both. But either way, that involves us going over there to have a conversation, right?
I mean, birds fly. I can get them out of the area, but probably not all the way out here.
So I guess...
I think getting closer is still ideal.
I guess we head out and look for whatever we can, and if it comes to a fight, let's not do that.
We get ready, just in case it does come to a fight, as prepped as we can be. We go in, we try not to, but if it gets to that, it gets to that.
Okay.
If it comes to a fight, are we ripcording or are we staying and fighting?
If we can spot Cynthia on the street outside of the Haven, and she makes you, we're going to try and nab her before she can get back there.
Got it.
If she gets back into there, then I think we gotta think twice before we go just barging into a place that might be loaded with traps, schlachta, and all kinds of other bad stuff.
Set it on fire.
That might cause more problems for the city than it will solve. Likely, the Abbott has prepped for a fire. They'll have an escape plan, and we will just scare them to their next location and have caused a fire in the Yale area.
We'll have to start all over again.
Clan Tremere might also not look kindly upon that.
I'm real concerned that this is all happening right next to Clan Tremere and they haven't seen anything.
They barely ever seem to leave the Chantry.
Reese is really the only person we see in court that often.
Yeah, but they see shit. That's one of the things they do.
They can see. That doesn't mean that they see.
They trust in their wards and walls
I agree
way
with
too
you.
much.
It is weird, but it's not anything we can do at this time. If you see anything out of place, keep note of it. That might be of it, but like...
And just remember that it seems to me that the reason they've chosen this area is that they're literally hiding right behind the neck of a massive beast. This is the power seat for New Haven, the downtown area, and specifically the Chantry. This seems like the perfect place for them to like weasel their way in and find safe haven.
Yeah, but we just handed Vito Santosa over to the Tremere, who are immediately in contact with the Sabbat.
Well, they're not really in contact so much as...
In, not contact, but
vicinity.
In the area.
Right.
I get the feeling Johnny's right. Honestly, I get the feeling that it is, the tick on the back of the dog. It's bold, but everything we've seen about them says that they're bold.
It's something to be aware of, and it is in thought, but there's not really anything preventing us from doing what we're about to do.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that we should alter our plans because of it, but it is something, in my mind, worth noting and definitely using if we need to.
If it's a thing that comes to it, yes, definitely.
Okay.
But let's move out.
I think we're as ready as we will be.
One at a time, the group of you make your way down to Toad's place, where you have agreed to meet, give a final review of the plan, and then execute it, taking your first major step against the killing spree. Neil, Miles, you're some of the first two to arrive. It's actually kind of a quiet night, and The two of you are given ample space to have your chat between yourselves. Shortly thereafter, over the course of mere moments, Britta, Wynn, and Johnny kind of roll in.
Okay, so we have a location for Cheryl. That's her name, Cheryl, right?
Cynthia.
Damn it. We have a location for Cynthia, at least a general location, right? We know she's in the Brownstones, right off of Yale. We have a basic idea of which building she's in.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to go in together. We've got our gear. And he looks over at Johnny and Britta as they walked in. We've got everything we need.
Johnny gives a nod, pulls out a Morley, pops it in his mouth, and lights up.
Still got the stuff from our other missions, so...
Okay.
Everything's packed in the car.
Yep.
Once we get outside, a little bit private, if it's in the car, we can go in the car. I will, just to prepare, Johnny, Wynn, if you have a little blood to give, I will call the Hunter's Moon to make sure that that you stay yourselves, that we can bolster our will for going in, because, Johnny, she's a La Sombra, right? Can't they get in there, in your head?
Yeah, she's the youngest of the Ductus's children.
So, if we can bolster the two of you against her, I think things will keep a little stronger and bolster your will. I will also enshroud all of us so that without vision like mine, hopefully no one can see us. You all remember what I said about walking like me? Yeah. Stay out of the light. Try not to bump into things, open doors. I'll enshroud all of you, and then I'll take care of the rest.
If I use my red eyes, will that blow it?
No.
Okay.
No. It should be fine. Just don't draw attention to yourself. It's more mental than physical. Once we're in there, Neil swallows a little bit. This is a killing mission, right? We're not trying to capture her. We're trying to take her away from the killing spree.
Correct.
He gives a little nod.
Also, not for nothing, because she is of the blood La Sombra, she likely has powers of obtenebration. And Wynn, I know you've seen what it's capable of.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
But for the three of you, she manipulates shadow like it's sentient. And you'd be surprised how powerful shadow can be.
Is it a physical manifestation of shadow, or is it just shadows? Johnny's
head tilts down, and he gives you a very grave look. No, it's physical. Black arms will reach out of the shadowed mass and grab you. And it's just as strong as I am. If you see something like this, don't stand your ground. You get out of there.
As Johnny clarifies that it's just as strong as he is, Britta winces.
This obtenebration has a limited range, which is one of its key weaknesses. If you stay and fight it, it's going to overwhelm you and drag you down. You won't be able to see. It'll flood your eyes, make you blind. I've heard that there's even more dangerous powers it's capable of. I can't say that I've ever seen some of those more dangerous powers.
Does it exist only in the physical realm? Or does it exist in...
I wish I knew.
Okay.
Do incendiary rounds weaken it?
I thought we were going to try not to light this place on fire.
That's always the goal.
It's good to have goals.
I know the La Sombra fear fire, and they fear sunlight. But I do know that oftentimes their power can even douse out those kind of light sources.
Okay, so...
What's our best way of contacting you two? Seeing that we'll be under your...
Contacting Miles and I?
Yeah, if we're trying not to break our obfuscation.
Neil, you can talk in people's heads, right?
A summon would work, wouldn't it?
I think so.
I can, but only if I see them.
Okay.
The other thing...
She can summon you guys.
In obfuscate? That wouldn't break anything?
If you summon, your obfuscate breaks.
Okay. That was my concern.
I thought you meant if she can summon you while you're obfuscated.
It would break the obfuscate, but it, I guess, would be quick.
If things are going loud, that might be the fastest and easiest way to do it.
Got it.
Depending on the signal over there, usually what I would do is just keep my phone in my pocket with a text message already sent, and a finger on the green button, depending.
All right, let's have both as backups.
When we have a better idea, because we have a general one, the other thing that we can do, if you two are okay watching me for a minute is if we're not sure about the astral realm, I can go look inside, see if she's alone, see if it looks like she's going anywhere. I don't know if she'll be able to perceive me or not, but
Maybe keep it as a last resort?
Potential risk, but it's doable. Maybe easier than walking room by room.
We'll stake out 2 hours. Then we'll see if the astral projection can work without being spotted. We can get a better idea of where they are in there, hopefully, and then we move in.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Man with the timeline, I like it.
If anything else comes up, obviously we'll stay in touch.
We'll just.
Johnny gives you all a hard look. This is about terrifying, and that's their main weapon. But they're not invincible. And this, he kind of jabs a finger at the table in the middle of us, referring to the plan. This is the best way to take them down. With us working together, this is going to work. And he will spend a point of willpower to bolster everyone with Ironheart.
Nice.
It is 1 per.
Well, thankfully, I've got 8 willpower to spend, so...
So, what does Ironheart do for us?
It increases the difficulty of people trying to affect you with Dominate, Presence, and Mind-affecting Thaumaturgy for the remainder of the scene.
Nice.
It actually causes Johnny to always have this aura of, like, badassery, and it becomes infectious when he spends the willpower and makes you feel as confident as he seems to be.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but, thank you.
That's in the rules.
An extra aura of badassery.
Okay. I guess we should do this then.
Good hunting.
Yeah.
So the trip to the just off campus, like, little dorm area that's being set up is a very short walk. When you get there, it looks like there is a couple landscaping pickup trucks parked outside. There are gardening tools. It looks like there's been a lot of work done to this place as they set it up. Some trees have been pulled down. And otherwise, it looks pretty empty, easily overlooked.
Wynn's going to keep her eyes out for squirrels and pigeons and other city wildlife that might be around a college campus and see if any of them are willing to talk.
There's a lot of pigeons.
Okay. Wynn will crouch down and use her animalism and, hey, was wondering if I could talk to you for a second.
Hi. The pigeon looks at you with one massive, like, round eye.
Is it possible that from the bar I could have taken, like, some crackers or something like that, or pretzels?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're not eating them.
I think likely if Wynn reaches in her pocket, she'll find some crackers.
Oh, yeah.
just on a daily basis.
Oh, hey.
I'm worried about those, though.
Ugh.
I'm an alpha. I feed my pack. So as she's talking to the pigeon, she starts sprinkling out some cracker or pretzel crumbs.
He comes down, eyes you wearily, very quickly pecks at a chunk of cracker here and there. He stands very close. This guy's been in the city like his whole life.
Mm-hmm. We're looking for someone. I was wondering if maybe you've seen her. She's kind of like me, kind of monstrous, definitely a predator.
Crackers.
She doesn't have crackers.
Crackers.
Well, I have more crackers if you answer the question.
Good. Crackers are good.
That's what I hear. The name Cynthia, does that mean anything to you? No.
Crackers? Kind of like
she
looks
sprinkles
at you
crackers periodically as she's talking.
Bobs his head, looks at you with a wide eye.
Have you seen any unnatural darkness?
Oh, yeah.
Where?
Kind of like looks around.
Everywhere?
Well, not right now.
No, but where most recently? More crackers.
He eats more crackers. He makes like this cooing noise, and other pigeons start to kind of watch you warily, and they start checking the situation.
She pulls out like a handful of wrapped saltine crackers and just starts frantically unwrapping them and sprinkling them around.
They all kind of come down. Good. I like crackers.
I get that.
Darkness. Yes. Dark place there. He kind of like looks at the place that has few too many landscaping trucks around it. Yes. Dark. Not from here. Not from life. Not from stars. Not from sun. Not from moon. Dark without light.
From
light
there.
made dark. Human. Now you know.
Yes. Guys, is there anything else we want to ask the pigeons?
Neil's just been watching her talk to birds and throw crackers all over herself. Like, just...
She's not throwing them on herself. She's really not trying to seduce these birds.
Sure.
When, do you know when, or would the pigeons know when Cynthia tends to exit?
Do you know when the darkness seems to come out?
Night.
That tracks. When specifically during the night?
After bells.
After bells.
I like bells.
Bells and crackers, that's what life's all about, man. I get it. She will dispense the last of her crackers. All right, thank you for your time.
He leaves. Once they've had the crackers, they're out.
So what's the word here?
Bird.
I set myself up for that.
You really
what's
did.
Wynn, this is really serious right now. What's the word? What damn it.
Everybody's heard about the bird,
Okay.
Neil.
What are you guys doing?
I'm trying to get a handle on the situation here.
And I'm not helping. So basically they said unnatural darkness seems to come from there. She motions to the building that the pigeons indicated.
Okay.
So that place with all of the trucks in front of it.
Okay.
That being said, we should really account for those trucks because those tentacles can definitely rip those trucks apart and swing it at us.
And was there any news about when she leaves?
After bells.
Bells.
Like on the hour, or?
That's what I would guess. It's a pigeon.
So, did they say how many bells?
No.
Okay. Good to know.
It's a moderate amount of helpfulness.
Well, we know which building. That's actually very helpful.
That's a great start. Well, the bells make sense. I think we are right by a church street. So that might really be that hourly bell.
So technically that means it's always after bells.
We know the building. We know somebody at least leaves, after the hour, although, no offense, but I don't know how much I want to judge a pigeon's judgment of time.
Pigeons are pretty smart if they're trained, but this guy seemed like he was just a cracker addict.
It's not being able to understand what he was saying to you or what you were discussing. It just looked like a pigeon eating crackers, if I'm being totally honest.
I mean, aside from getting the building, it was largely just a pigeon eating crackers.
Okay, great. So,
talking about how much he liked crackers.
Here's the question. Do we want to hide out somewhere and you guys protect my body and I just go look inside to see if Cynthia is in there?
If you go in astral and these things can astrally project, we can't help you.
Johnny was teaching me how to fight, but I can always come back to my body.
Can you?
Yeah. Unless they sever my cord, but if they can sever my cord, I'm in way more trouble than I thought I would be.
All right.
Is there an amount of time we should give you before we start trying to pull you back? Can we pull you back at all?
When you are in the realm of thought, you move at the speed of thought, so it should just be a few minutes.
Longer than 10 minutes and we start shaking you or pouring water on you or something?
Okay, well that won't... I mean, yeah, I'll be able to feel it, but yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless we don't want to do this,
Well, will it tip them off? That's where my thoughts are.
I don't know.
So we should warn Johnny and Miles before we do this, just in case, and then update them after.
I mean, they know we're scouting. They know we're going to be doing shit like this.
Specifics don't hurt if we can communicate with them.
I mean, either way.
All right. Do you guys want me as a bird or as a person?
Text them. I mean, I'm going to just be a limp corpse while I'm doing this, so anything you can do just to...
Do you want to take up lookout, keep an eye out, and I'll stay right by Neil to protect him?
Sure.
Britta moves her hand within her jacket. Her grip is definitely landing on the handle of a gun, but she keeps it hidden.
All right, so Wynn will find a place that is pretty dark and definitely out of the way of prying human eyes, and she will spend a blood and begin the painful-looking process of turning into an owl.
As she does this, Britta texts Miles, lets him know that Neil is about to go into astral, that they will be guarding the body, and they will update once that is over.
How long has it been?
Not very long, like maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. A text back. It's been 15 minutes. Maybe wait out the rest of the 2 hours that was originally allotted before sending Neil in.
Britta swears under her breath and looks over. Miles is completely right. We said that we were going to do this in 2 hours.
Yeah, but it's like, now that we're here, I'm nervous.
Well, that's a terrible reason to do this. I'm going to be real with you.
Okay, fine. So, instead, I guess, he's right. I forgot
Wynn's
I got
already
nervous
a
and I
bird.
forget.
Yeah, I was going to say Wynn's like half Cronenberg owl at this point.
Okay, well, so let's just
Do you want to be in a bird while we... Well, I'm sorry, be a bird? I'm not sure how to say it.
She'd have owl.
Britta is just off her game. She looks down, Tech smiles back, says, "You're right. We'll wait." And she looks back over to Neil and says, "Wynn can investigate from that angle, all right, while we investigate during how
Sure.
we were planning to. I don't know if you can cover her while she's..."
I mean, I can, yeah. Let's just everybody go into an alley or something. So we give me like 10 minutes.
All right, when she's done.
Go into an owlie.
No. You're a bird. You can't say that.
No, but she's definitely thinking it. And giggling to herself in owl.
All right.
She looks at you like Hoot.
So we step into a place that has a few shadows, and Neil starts to like incant under his breath and move his fingers kind of as if he was weaving, and the shadows start to like darken and cling around the three of them, in theory, if I don't fuck up this roll. Yeah, it does. So for the next 5 hours, it all clings around, and then the three of them sort of fade from sight, like Neil often does on his own, as the shadows sort of cling and obscure their forms. And then in a whisper, he looks at the other two and is like, "Okay, stay out of spotlights. Try not to bump into anything or anybody. Don't, make a lot of crazy movements. Draw attention to yourself. And in theory, no one should really notice us unless they can see like I can see."
Got it.
All right. I guess we just stake out. Then that was the plan.
About 45 minutes into the stakeout, those watching see something that strikes them as rather unusual. You see a kind of a very young preteen girl, greasy blonde hair, very unkempt, and she looks like she's been crying a lot. And with her is a pair of young women in college, probably attending the university. They're in like what looks to be kind of dark jogging clothes, and they don't have like a purse or anything on them. And they seem to be speaking to the young girl as encouragingly as they can. There's some concern written on their faces. This girl points to the place you're staking out and is like, my mommy's here. Can you bring me over? And they kind of look a little confused, but yeah, they nod. And holding this little girl's hand, she kind of takes both their hands and walks with them up the steps and to the front door.
Do we want to stop this? I mean, there's one. Do I see anyone else, like, following along with this preteen girl in Obfuscate, like, walking behind, or does she seem to be alone with these two human beings?
You do see someone accompanying her. He looks to be this kind of like ratty looking Mexican guy with pointy ears. His hair is also kind of this like mess. There's whiskers, like actual whiskers in the place of a mustache. And these like ratty clothes. He prowls along following the trio with red glowing eyes and claws pointing from his fingernails.
Does the girl look at all like the picture of Cynthia?
No. Cynthia is a grown woman.
Can I sense a beast from any of them?
Both have beasts. Well, you can't see one. One of them only Neil can see.
Okay.
You can see the girl, and she does have a beast.
This little girl has a beast?
Yes.
Okay.
There's two out on the street right now. This is an opportunity to try and get two of them. It's way off plan, and we may be tipping off Cynthia, but...
It's not our target.
And those two girls are going to die. That might not be our concern right now, but...
We already know that every time that we don't kill the killing spree that they are killing people.
And I'm just saying there may be an opportunity right now to kill two of them if we think we can do it fast. I just don't know if we can.
Wynn kind of looks at Neil, makes eyes at him, and shakes her head.
They ascend the steps.
Neil is standing on the balls of his feet, but nods at Wynn.
Wynn flies up into a tree.
Tactically, if we do it right now, we may blow our complete cover, but we might be getting two for the price of one. And if we do it before they go inside, they might not get tipped off. We would have to move quick, but...
If Wynn bumps her head against Neil's head, will that break the obfuscate?
If you're two obfuscated together, you're fine.
Okay. She kind of pushes her downy little forehead against Neil's.
I can't. It's hard to get into your head right now. Thanks, Hunter's Moon.
She kind of bites his nose a little bit.
Ow! I don't know what you want, and I can't get in your head right now.
When are you trying to comfort Neil?
Shakes
No,
her head.
she bit me.
I don't think I could get in your head either. Not with all that.
After getting bit and just seeing the frustration in the owl, Neil will look at her and just sort of like pinch the bridge of his nose and then open his vision to eyes of chaos to try and see like what, just try and see something through his like recognition of patterns. Like what are you trying to convey here? I do not understand you right now.
It is not a pure form of communication, so I will take a guess and convey that to you, and we're going to see how this goes.
That seems super fair. It's 3 successes.
With 3 successes, you look into her big seagull eyes that are on an owl. And
Scales on its head.
with a pretty little pattern on her face. And you recognize that what she is conveying to you, whether in this conversation or over the course of the past few months, she is telling you where you go, she will go. Whatever that means. Whoever that is.
Neil opens his eyes and looks at her and then like takes a half step back out of like, okay.
Wynn flies up into a tree.
And then like blinks his eyes a couple times, looks over at Britta. Okay, last chance. Are we going to do this or not?
She bites him on the ear.
I like that you flew back down again.
This is not a nibble. This is a bite.
All right, forget it. We're not. You're
They
both.
cross the porch.
You're both right. We're not doing it.
And the door opens. And the little girl calls out, "Mom." She leads them in. She's like, come in, it's okay. And they follow her in. And the ratty hunter that is following them along follows in as the door is left open. And he shuts the door, slamming it behind them. And very muffled to the point where, I mean, really only you, Neil, can hear it. The screaming starts. And then it's quickly silenced.
Neil is a vampire. He already doesn't. He's like not physically capable of blanching. He does not have blush of health or anything like that. But the 2 women with him can very clearly get the impression that Neil is hearing something right now, and he looks extremely upset, like he's about to cry.
Humanity 5+, I need it to conscience test. Your difficulty is 8.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Nope.
2 successes.
Britta, you can kind of hear them, and you know that you made the choice to be better than this. You made the choice to not be a monster, and this was a failing on that path. Not just for you, but you allowing other people to do it, refusing to speak out when you know you're right. And this time, that terrible habit of yours has cost people their lives, and it weighs on you.
Britta looks down, kind of shrinking in her posture and holding her jacket closer to her.
Neil, you look on in horror, and for a moment it looks like you might whimper, but with your eyes of chaos up, you see that the plan remains intact, and that you will do what you have come here to do, and you feel nothing for these pawns who have helped to confirm the presence of other enemies in the field.
Neil's face watches the front door, and it looks like he's about to cry, and then the humanity drains from his face, and very clearly standing in the street in Obfuscate next to Britta, Neil feels nothing.
Did you actually botch here?
I double botched.
I lose 2 points of humanity.
That brings Neil to humanity 4. I have had to make 2 conscience checks, and I have botched them both times.
From here on out, you are particularly pale, gaunt. Your ears come to slight points. Your lips are more thin, and anyone who gets too close can very clearly see something is wrong with you.
Neil watches the front door, having made the choice, failed to make the choice, and just stares like a completely inhuman monster until the screaming stops.
What how'd you do?
Nope.
Botch or fail?
Fail.
Okay. You watch Neil let them go. You stand by. And whatever he feels, or the lack thereof, you find yourself feeling it too. And little things start to mean less to you. Your home, your familiar, the people you care about. Your connection begins to fade. And without them, I think you know what you are.
Mechanically lose 1 humanity.
Yep.
Yep. She is also down to humanity 4.
Fuck.
I'm sorry, I should have gone with you guys.
No, you're right. You made the right call. Like you said before, like Miles said before, this is the plan. We're just a watch.
Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it wrong either.
I thought I had it right earlier when I said that we knew that they were killing people, that us being here didn't make it any different. It seemed like maybe we were just making it more personal, and like I could excuse it that way, but now that I've done it, it's not the same. We did have a choice to interact. We did know about it.
The question that was posed is whether or not we were going to take a swing at 2 of them and...
Bam! The front door swings open and shut again. And outside, 2 different people emerge. One of them you immediately recognize to be Cynthia. And she turns to the other person that is joining her. He, unlike the rest of the city gangrel, actually looks a little more handsome. He seems a bit better adjusted to unlife than a lot of his pack mates, and seems to pay a bit more attention to his clothes. He's got some nice kicks. He's got a few piercings, and it's all clean and good looking. He rests his hands over Cynthia's, and Cynthia says to him, "Jorge, that was fucked up. Why do they insist on doing it this way every time?" And Jorge holds her hands. It's what the Ductus wants. Toughen us up. Keep the pressure on the camis. I know it's wrong, but we gotta win this somehow, right?
Britta, send Miles the text message.
You said you want to do something.
Yeah, as soon as he lets go of her hands, I'm dive bombing her.
Okay. So, the 3 of you will be taking a surprise action. That surprise action can be, I continue with the plan. The surprise action can also be, I dive bomb the shit out of this bitch. Either way, roll initiative.
19.
I'm on a 15.
14.
Britta, you see the start of a dive bomb. You don't hear it, though. It's just this silent flying bird through the night headed towards her destination with a vengeance.
Britta goes to summon Miles, and on an instinctual kick, goes for Johnny instead.
Roll at +2 difficulty.
4 successes. Subject comes with haste, overcoming any obstacles in his way.
Sounds good. Neil.
I see Wynn dive bombing.
You sure do.
Where are we right now? We're like in a little alley watching them.
So this is more of like a private property that's like just off campus. Campus is always like forever expanding. And as I mentioned, on the street, there is like a lot of lawn care, landscaping.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a big lawn here with a path and the staircase that leads up. That's why you had some time to discuss whether or not you wanted to interfere.
Yeah, for sure. Neil is torn for just half a second because we're supposed to be following the plan here. And that's not part of the plan. But getting Cynthia out and watching Wynn dive bomb, where he goes, she goes. And so where she goes, he goes. Neil will spend his surprise watching her go over there to try and also support in his sort of inhuman Malkavian way now. And his body will collapse and he will try and project himself mentally across the street to go support Wynn, leaving his body behind.
Britta and Neil collapses.
Shit.
Wynn.
9 successes.
8 successes will roll over into bonus damage dice.
Which is strength plus brawl.
Your damage is going to be strength plus 1 die for claws.
3 die for claws.
She's the big ones.
Right. Strength plus 3 dice for claws.
So you're rolling 15 dice.
Gonna need a third hand.
Pretty much. This is a 3-hand job. Where's Rusty when you need him? And I'm spending a blood for potence.
She has 2 fortitude.
12 damage.
Did you add the 2 from potence?
I did not add the 2 from potence.
She will subtract 2 successes from the damage you deal, and she will take 12 levels of aggravated damage. This kills her instantly. So you swoop down and with your claws, you snatch the front half of her head clean from her body, and a fast rotting but not ashing corpse collapsed to the ground. The boy who is holding her hands howls as he starts to ride the wave of frenzy, and that howl starts to get echoed around the campus as members of the pack fly into a rage. Wynn, you're still holding a good portion of her, but you are now flying back up after successfully executing the Abbott of the killing spree. I need everyone to make a humanity test.
Yeah.
Because you guys have absolutely orchestrated and executed a murder.
Is it everyone?
Everyone.
What? We're not there.
You're literally like, hey guys, we can do this.
We're here in spirit,
This is the
man.
bestest plan. You're going to love it.
What kind of roll is this?
What's the
Self-control?
difficulty on this one?
Conscience, difficulty 8.
1 success.
1 success.
1 success.
1 success.
1 success. Oh, thank God.
Okay. Despite being in the throes of like riding the wave of his anguish, the boy catches her and is in control of himself just long enough to help her to the ground. But after that, the beast takes over, and he will begin running in the direction that he sees the bird that just murdered his girlfriend.
Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Ventrue was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode was edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was January Grunge Love Fest by Technoaxe. Visit them online at technoaxe.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition rule set of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade is owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at Path of Night Pod, on Facebook at facebook.com/Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
If you would like to support the Path of Night podcast and the crew in our projects, we currently accept contributions to coffee.com/Path of Night. And thank you for listening.
How much? Okay, so how much scritching in the dirt can I get away with? Can I get?
No.
Somebody needs to teach somebody
get-
else animalism.
How
when
much
it comes down to.
dirt can I scritch?
Can I scritch 6 letters in the dirt?
No. You could figure out another way to communicate.
I will let you scritch 1 letter.
Better be an F.
Oh, that would
Yo,
be
this-
so on brand.
This reminds me of like when I was a little kid, I used to like ask my parents like, "Yo, can I say a bad word?" And they'd be like, "No." And I'd be like, "Oh, can I spell a bad word?" No. Come on, please, just let me like spell. Just like let me spell like FUCK.
Just give me the FCK.
Then I would get in trouble because.
What a good, like, way to explain your entire personality. Like, one little story.